Oh, you're ready.
Yeah, I am ready.
We're ready. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back with another movie review. But before we get into it, guys like this video, give us a like and subscribe.
Garbage.
Also, would you be quiet? But before we start, this video will contain spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about the movie,
Please leave.
yes, do not continue to watch. If you don't care about spoilers, then continue watching. So we went and saw Birds of Prey tonight. What is it called? Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
I'll refer to it as just Birds of Prey. The title is too long.
Yeah, but well, whatever. I mean, as if I had,
How about we start from the beginning? Let's start with how it all started out.
let's start from the beginning.
So, it first starts out with a cartoon version of Harley Quinn, and basically she's talking about her life. So she basically
Harley Quinn narrates the certain parts of the movie where there's little cartoon things in which she kind of narrates stuff.
Yeah, and
in her voice is saying what's happened up until that point, or doing flashbacks, or
all that stuff. And the first thing she goes through is talks about her life. She basically talks about her dad got rid of her. I forget why. Do you know why? How her father?
No, he traded. She said he traded me for a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
And then she kept trying to come back, but he kept trying to get rid of her until he sent her to
a foster home.
No, it was like a boarding school.
In which the lady there abused her.
Yeah, it was nuns. The nuns would. Well, I wouldn't say abuse her, but they would be like.
Just like if you don't do something.
Yeah, they're very strict. So.
Yeah, but she went through obviously high school, got her diploma, went to college, got her PhD as a psychiatrist, and and then she talks about how her and the Joker broke up, and because of that, everybody in the city hates her because her and the Joker did terrible stuff to pretty much everybody that lived in Gotham.
Yeah, she didn't care at the time because she was with him, thinking that he'd always be there to protect her. And once she was once they broke up, because he was kind of done with her. Then she just kind of on her own, and most people found that she had no protection. It was kind of like, what they say, open season on Harley Quinn, because they knew she had nobody to protect her anymore.
Right, and so after all that, it shows her basically all depressed, like she's like, oh, everybody hates me. I want to turn my life around, etc., etc. But she doesn't really do that at first. She basically continues to act the way she is.
She continues to make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And getting into bad situations, and still doesn't really care, but she cares. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, and this is where things get confusing in this movie. So, at first they show her at a bar, and she's drinking, getting drunk with people, and then they show the villain guy, and his name is Roman. I forget what his last name was. But they call him Black Mask.
Yeah, it was played by Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. That's who it was.
Yeah. Solus, was that his name?
Who?
Was his last name Solus in the movie?
Yeah, Solus. That's what his name. And they basically showed him in the bar, and they don't really say much to each other at all, really. She's just partying, getting drunk, and then she walks outside and blows up the factory that her and the Joker used to own or something like this. She blows it up, and then the police and all them come in there, and the lady cop tells the guy, oh yeah, her and the Joker broke up.
Yeah, the cop was played by...
that's why it happened.
Yeah, the cop was played by Rosie Perez. I don't know if the other police officers were, they were just minor characters. Although the police chief looked like he was the guy from the Lock and Key series. I'd have to look it up. It looked like the same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if it looked like the guy who played the principal in Lock and Key. I think it was the same actor. I'd have to look it up though.
Yeah, and she basically blows it up, and then she goes on the run, and then basically the first half of the movie after that is basically the cops trying to look for her, and then she meets this kid.
Yeah.
And the kid has a diamond, and
that she ate or whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have some secret thing about a bank vault someplace. I don't know.
Yeah, and the guy wanted the diamond, or otherwise he was gonna kill Harley and everybody he knew
until he got it. The first half of the movie, I would say,
it was.
there's a lot of I would say like stuff that didn't really need to be in the movie. It was almost like they were just finding stuff to fill. That's what's my opinion. I think the first half of the movie really dragged out. It was really kind of boring and it was kind of just nonsense. I know it's Harley Quinn, but it was just I don't know. I didn't enjoy the first half of the movie. I didn't like it. No. It was just kind of like
I think going into the second half of the movie, the good there was like maybe like one good part in it, and that was about it. And it's the scene where it was Harley and then these girls. It was the crossbow lady, the
Huntress.
The cop,
Black Canary, and I forgot what the cop's name was.
Yeah,
Rosie Perez's character. I forgot what her name was.
And the little girl.
Well, she's not little, but she's like a teenager.
Yeah, and basically they team up after killing Roman's associates that tried getting the diamond.
Yeah, they team up because they were trapped inside of like a fun house type thing. So they realized they had to team up together. That was like the one really cool part of the whole movie was that. But I understand they have to have a story behind all this, but I don't know. To me, the movie just kind of dragged out until 3/4 of the way through the movie. I mean, the second half I understand was building up to the confrontation between the gang and the women in the movie, but
and then they fight all the associates that Roman has. There was like hundreds of them, and they kill them all, and then Roman takes the girl and kidnaps her, and Harley finds both of them at like a dock, and basically she's trying to convince him to let her go, and he's like, what? You think I'm crazy or something? You're stupid. Like, and then he's basically saying, like, in summarizing words, like, I won, you lost, like, it's all over.
Yeah.
You tried everything, you're just a moron, you know, you're crazy. And then all of a sudden, the girl's like, well, if we're gonna admit stuff, here's what I have to admit. And then she goes, I have your ring or something.
Yeah, it was the key for a grenade.
Yeah, and the guy behind her, and Roman's like, oh no. And then he basically pushes her because he knows it's a grenade. And then basically Harley kicks him and he explodes and his body falls into the river. Yeah, that's
kind of the end of him. He just kind of...
And then the rest of it was basically her eating an egg sandwich.
Yeah, they made a big deal about those egg sandwiches. She was
and the chili, like
one guy in the movie made a really good chili, another guy made a really good egg sandwich. And
I wasn't a fan of this movie, despite that one scene. But I just think the story they went with it wasn't that good. I feel like when they filmed this, they probably like, oh gee, well, we don't have that much for this movie. Get it? And then I think that's why they bought the eggs and all that stuff to fill it up. But I just don't like the direction they went with it.
There were some scenes that were just kind of silly, and I didn't really understand the point. But it was like almost remember like a typical Warner Brothers doing what they usually do, just like
making DC movies trash.
Yeah, I mean, like Wonder Woman and Aquaman were good. I understand this is a different type of movie because it's Harley Quinn, but I wasn't overly impressed. Not saying it was. I wouldn't say it was terrible. I mean, it's worth. It
just wasn't.
It's worth seeing. I mean,
but you think it's worth seeing?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go and see it again at the theater. It's not worth seeing again.
No.
It was like, okay, just something to do when you want to, go see a movie. It's okay to see, but I wouldn't say it was great. There's nothing I would pay to see it again.
I mean, I'm not saying every DC movie is terrible. There are a lot of good ones that Warner Brothers success. I mean, you look at Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Batman vs. Superman, that was all right. I mean, that was good. But this one was just not good. Like, and I'm not surprised. It's Warner Brothers. The way they handle their movies is just bad. Like, they don't come up with good stories, good pitches. Like they walk probably in the creative room and they probably look at whoever the CEO of Warner Brothers is, and they're probably like, all right, this is what we want to make a movie about Harley Quinn. This is what we want. And then they would just say, okay, go film it.
I do have to say that well, I don't know what the woman's name was. Plays the character. I forget what her name is.
Which one in this movie?
Who plays Harley Quinn?
Margot
Robbie.
Yeah.
I would say as Harley Quinn, she does a really good job as Harley Quinn.
Yes, it's the character.
Not to take anything away from her job as the character, she did a really good job.
It's the story they go with it.
The story itself was just, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it, but she did a really good job as playing Harley.
Because
Quinn.
there was some flashback scenes like it would go forward into the scene where she barges into the Gotham police headquarters and she doesn't kill the cops, like she hurts them with like these rocket launchers.
She has this gun and it's like shoots
fireworks and
shoots these weird bullets that have colors and fireworks coming out, but they don't actually hurt anything.
And then she gets into like one of the big office rooms and she goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for Cassandra. What's her last name? Keith
Kane.
Yeah, Cassandra Cain, who's the teenage girl.
Teenage girl.
And as soon as somebody was going to answer, she goes, "Well, let's rewind and figure out how we got." It's like, you just ruined it.
Yeah, one part was like 4 minutes ago, and it was like 3 days ago or something like that. I don't know.
It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then she was narrating a few times in the movie, like whenever they would introduce a character, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so. This is why he or she hates me." And it's like, what? I just didn't like that either.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they would make a superhero movie like that. Like I don't know what's wrong with Warner Brothers. They need a lot of help.
Yeah, I don't know.
Serious help.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't think it was. He thinks it was a little worse than I thought. I thought it was okay. He thought it was terrible, but
soon I said to him the moment we sat down, I'm like, "How much you want to bet this movie's going to be bad?" Yeah. And he's like, "Oh no." Then when it's over, and I'm like, "Yep, it was bad. It was terrible."
Yeah, my other son thought it was okay, but he just didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay. If I had to give it like a grade, it'd be like a C minus. I wouldn't say it wasn't. I've seen far worse movies. What was the other movies? The Turning.
The Turning. That one I think was just as bad.
That was trash, but. This wasn't as bad as that.
I would. Another Turns, like rating wise, 1 through 10, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, so
a C minus. So, I mean, if you want to go watch it, you can, but it's not hype worthy. It's just
Yeah. Anyways, I kind of feel when we saw the trails, I wasn't overly excited about it. It just kind of looked convoluted. Parts of it were like that, and parts of it were okay. I don't know. I think that's going to wrap up.
Yeah, I got nothing else to add.
Nothing to do a quick movie review for this. Anyways, if you guys like this review and you like the video, give us a like and subscribe. Until next time.